Strategies security clearance. How do you exercise that responsibility?
Well, we have a secret facility clearance, and I maintain that.
Okay.
And we follow those. We follow the guidelines set out by PSPC.
And you said earlier that the $13.9 million contract did not require document safeguarding capability. How do you know this?
Based on past testimony, I noticed yesterday that
from past committee testimony.
Yes.
Okay, so the Office of the Ombuds, the Procurement Ombud, stated that the contract for $13.9 million, the contract itself stated that, quote, the contractor must at all times during the performance of the contract hold a valid designated organization screening, DOS, with approved document safeguarding at the level of protected B. Did your company hold that security clearance at the time that it was signed? So why earlier did you say that the contract didn't require document safeguarding when in fact it did?
Those words are PSPC's words. I'm not aware.
I don't think so. This is the contract itself. This is the Office of the Ombuds, or sorry, the Office of the Procurement Ombudsperson, and citing the contract. And this is the words from the report. The contract stated, quote, the contractor must at all times during the performance of the contract hold approved document safeguarding at the level of protected B. So I guess what's shocking, Mr. Anthony, is that you're the chief security officer. This is a security issue. We're talking about matters of national security, and you weren't familiar with the requirements of the contract at the time that your partner signed it. And it comes back to my earlier question about how you actually carry out your responsibilities as a chief security officer, or whether this is just a title that you divvied up the titles and you became chief security officer, but actually you don't do any chief security officer things. I'm struggling to understand how you failed
that's
provide
our time,
this
Mr.
basic
Bachrach.
level
We'll
of
have to
oversight.
allow a bit of time for if you could have a response, Mr. Anthony.
I have no response.
Thanks very much. Mr. Genwis, for 5 minutes, please, sir.
Mr. Anthony, you really had me at I didn't read the Auditor General's report. Now, this report was tabled more than a month ago. Your company has faced grievous consequences, which you have described because of this report. You've been required to testify in large part because of the findings in this report. And this report is feeding into an RCMP investigation that could result in criminal charges against your long-term business partner and against you. Mr. Anthony, this report is merely 36 pages. And at no point did you think, maybe I should read this thing.
No, I did not.
Mr. Anthony, why are you lying to this committee?
I'm not lying to this committee. I swore an oath.
You did, sir. What do you think you have to gain by claiming that you didn't read the Auditor General's report?
I have nothing to gain.
Why are you making this claim when it's clearly not true?
It is true.
Sir, how much time did you spend preparing for this hearing today?
Not a whole lot.
Roughly, though. How much time did you spend preparing for this hearing?
A couple of hours.
A couple hours. Okay. And you didn't think as part of that preparation, you should read the Auditor General's report?
It was against my doctor's wishes for me to be working. I have not been working since the start of December. We sent our doctor's notes. He's advised us not to work.
Your doctor advised you not to read the Auditor General's report?
No, he said He'd advised me not to work to lower my stress.
Okay, sir. In the couple hours you spent preparing, you didn't read the Auditor General's report, and you came here and you told us you disputed its findings based on what Christian Firth had told you.
Yes.
Mr. Anthony, I don't believe you, first of all. But secondly, I have a hard time making sense of your motivations. Mr. Firth is under a serious cloud of suspicion, suspicion involving events that you claim you don't have any knowledge about. With that in mind, are you committed to standing by Mr. Firth and believing everything he tells you, regardless of what this investigation reveals?
I've known Christian Firth since 2007. We've been business partners since 2015. He's honest, trustworthy, hardworking man and a parent. I have no doubt that he's done nothing wrong. I'm confident all independent investigation will establish that.
Were you reading what you just said, sir, or were you speaking from the heart?
Speaking from the heart.
Sir, I don't even know what to say. This is so ridiculous, sir. Like, is it not obviously ridiculous to you? You've come before this committee. You've been summoned here. You would have been arrested by the Sergeant at Arms if you hadn't shown up. And you're telling us you did 2 hours of prep. You didn't read the Auditor General's report, and you're committed to standing by everything Mr. Firth tells you, even though you had allegedly no involvement in the events that could lead to criminal charges. Like this, is this what is happening? Mr. Anthony, one other question in the time I have left. What is your relationship with David Yao? Do you know him? Do you have conversations with him?
I've never had a conversation with him. I don't know him.
Okay. You are supposed to manage security processes for the company. Have you ever, in the course of your time working for Christian Firth, provided any pushback or raised concerns about things he suggested in terms of contracts, contractors, processes, or have you not?
I have not.
So you affirm, approve, rubber stamp the things that Mr. Firth provides you.
I don't approve things that he. I'm not sure where what the question is.
This is a strange partnership.
Yeah, that is our time, Mr. Generous.
Okay.
Mr. Sousa, go ahead, please, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Anthony, you're a 50% owner of this company, correct?
Yes.
They made that clear. And you share 50% of the profits generated from the contracts as well, correct?
Yes.
And in those costs associated with a particular contract, if Mr. Firth has sourced the contract of ArriveCAN, does he charge himself a salary or a fee prior to sharing the profits with you?
No.
So when he does a $20 million deal or a $10 million deal, and you do a $1 million deal, you share on the $20 million deal equally with Mr. Firth, and he shares in the $1 million deal that you do on your own? Is that how it works?
Yes, in most cases.
So you're benefiting quite a bit from this association with Mr. Firth if he's doing all the work, if he's providing and sourcing the contracts, if he's the one that's having deliberations, and you're saying that, hey, I'm just the guy that stamps and does the fingerprinting. Is that what you're saying? You're saying he actually sources a lot. He sources a lot of revenue for you.
Yeah, I focus on my work.
So how much of the work, the GC strategies, how much of the profits are generated by you?
I don't have those numbers in front of me.
Well, let's assume you got 2.5. Well, I mean, Mr. Firth explained yesterday that he got $2.5 million as the net result of his engagement with ArriveCAN over those 2-year periods. Presumably, did you get a $2.5 billion net return on your contracts?
I don't have those numbers in front of me right now.
You don't know if you're equally contributing to the generation of profits for the company? Are you and him equal partners in terms of revenue generation?
Yes.
All right. So all the work that Mr. Firth did for GC Strategies in this period of time, you did equally the same amount in that profit.
Not well. I don't know. I don't know that answer.
Were you around? When were you at Veritech? How long were you at Veritech? When did you start?
I was started there in 2005 and I left in 2010.
So what happened at Veritech around that time? Are you aware of the bid rigging allegations and issues that occurred?
Yes.
And what happened with Veritech? Were they charged? Did they plead guilty? Explain to us what took place.
I am not sure. I believe I had left the company. I don't know what happened with that whole scenario.
But you were there and you weren't aware how.
Well, I was there as a recruiter. I was not involved in any of those accounts that were in question at that time. I was not investigated.
And you have not been in touch with any investigators as a result of this ongoing issue. The last 6 months, has any investigators called you?
No.
Explain to me. There's a lot of deliberations, a lot of considerations given to the value of your contribution and that of Mr. Firth to the program. In essence, why do you exist? Why is it that we need you and Mr. Firth to provide services? Like, you're not doing the service, right? You're providing the skill sets. You're assembling teams of people. Explain to us why is that worth 20% or 10%?
We were asked to do a job for a price, and we did it.
And you bid on that price? Like, you bid on, like, I understand this one may not have been bid. How did this one come to be? How did these last two or three that are in question?
On my contracts?
No, on
my
ArriveCAN. On these with ArriveCAN. How did those contracts come to be?
I have no knowledge of that.
How do your contracts come to be?
My contracts, they come out through RFP. All of my contracts that I've been awarded have been competed. So an RFP would come out on the street. I would read it, see if we have a partner network or resources that would be interested in bidding on the opportunity, speak with those resources, clarifying if our corporate requirements meets that of that department. We put together a bid, submit, and if we were awarded the contract, we execute on the contract.
Thank you very much. That is our time. Mr. Bear, please go ahead, sir.
Numbered company. What is it?
Pardon me?
You have a numbered company. What is the company?
I don't see how that's relevant.
Well, first of all, it's relevant because I've asked. It's also important that we have an understanding of your business dealings. And I've asked the question, and you're obligated to answer it. The numbered company, sir.
The numbered company owns my shares.
The numbered company owns your shares. Is it registered in Canada?
Yes.
And is Christian Firth a part of this numbered company?
No.
And the shares that you're referring to are in GC Strategies?
Yes.
Does it hold shares in any other company?
No.
Do you have any business abroad? And do you own any interests in companies outside of Canada?
No.
Do you know if Christian Firth has any businesses outside of Canada?
No.
No businesses? Sorry, you don't know, or he doesn't have them?